Saturday we go into it. The Leafs outshoot the Sens 40-19
because they should.
Jack Campbell's in net. He gets the W. He looks great. Marner to Thornton. Thornton's the second oldest Leaf to ever score a goal for the team, I think is the record.
Something like that, yeah.
Jack Campbell on Stützle's goal is all cute. And that's kind of the narrative you come out of that. And then everybody's upset about Campbell and Anderson. And then going into Sunday, you sent an article by Rory Boylan, who penned this great thing for .ca about the questions after the first weekend of hockey for each Canadian team. And he writes about how, okay, do we know that Anderson is going to finish the season as the starter?
Is Frederik Andersen not exactly how I described the Leafs just now? You don't know what you're going to get every night. You don't know.
Right.
You don't know.
So what are your thoughts on the whole Campbell Anderson? And now that we know Aaron Dell is a member of New Jersey Devils, that's also a wrinkle in the situation. What do you think of the Leafs goalie controversy?
It's just something to keep an eye on at this point. But Freddie's going to play against the Jets tonight. Mm-hmm. Regardless of how that game goes, it is the right decision. They have a 3-game homestand right now. It's Jets, Oilers, Oilers. You don't want yourself in a situation where you play Campbell against the Jets. Then let's say he gets lit up. And then you have back-to-back games against McDavid and Draisaitl. And you're now going to a starter you don't have confidence in and a backup you don't have confidence in. Let Freddie play the Jets, hopefully play a good game, win or lose. And then I think the Leafs play 5 games in 10 days or something like that. It's no back-to-backs, but no real rest either. And there's a bunch of travel in there. Why not have Jack play at least 2 of those? Like that I think is the perfect situation. Jack Campbell is here to be a dependable backup for Frederik Andersen. That's his job. Not a threat to his job. I think he's there to make Freddie a little less comfortable in that regard, but to me, there's no controversy. It's until it is very, very obvious Freddie is the starter and Jack is the backup. And I'm sorry, you can't tell me a game where Campbell had 19 shots on him. You can't tell me that's all I needed to see.
Right.
And it's nothing against him. Well, what about that save on Dodonov? It was a terrible shot. What about it? Plus, we've seen Freddie make that save 1,000 times because he's been forced to, because this team forces you to do that. So to me, Freddie is the starter.
So those are your words to a fan base that sees Freddie Andersen with a sub 900 career save percentage in first month of the season starts.
But I understand the fan base's feeling, because you're like, what is it about the first month of the season, whether it's in the fall or the winter, that makes you a sieve? Give me what I want in Batista's voice. That's not what I want. We just want consistency. We know the Leafs can be great, and we know Freddie can be great. And it just feels like they are so rarely both great at the same time for 3 to 5 consecutive games. You know what I mean? It's so rare that win or lose, we just watch the Leafs for 2 straight weeks and we go, we got the same team every night.
Right.
We got the same Freddie every start. You don't know. And he's doing what he always does when he's off. There was the one goal where I think it was Riley Brody. They don't have the right coverage. He's out of his crease. Get in there. He swims. He goes way too far out of position when he doesn't know what's going on. And it's like, you're just bigger Garrett Sparks. When you're that far out of the net. It's true.
Okay, so you're on both sides here. So we've got a whole.
That's why I'm losing my mind.
Right. So I think there's not a controversy yet. No. Seems to be the sentiment.
Yes,
but one could develop.
Oh yeah.
If it continues to trend this way.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Also out of the game on Saturday, Nick Robertson. Terrible news. Out for 4 weeks. Sheldon Keefe said at practice today. Very unfortunate. Your first NHL regular season game on, what was it, his second shift? even
second or third. He was yeah, it's
and he was
brutal.
wheeling. He looked great, and then he's out for 4 weeks now. So
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. And I brought this up 1,000 times, but he's been here since May. He's been in Canada since before Leo was born. Nick Robertson has been in Canada more consecutively than my son has been alive, trying to make this dream happen. And, he gets hurt right away. This wasn't a case of a teenager being in over his head. It was just a fluky, weird play. And by the way, the reason Leaf fans are so high on Robertson, he was drafted over a year ago now in 2019. He's 4 months older than Tim Stützle. That's it.
oh wow.
Yeah, he's only 4 months older than Tim Stützle because he was one of the youngest players in the 2019 draft. And a very important note for anyone who's like a nerd. I know if you're Steve Simmons, you maybe don't care about details. I guess we'll get into that later. But Earl Schwartz, you got to follow this guy on Twitter. Earl Schwartz 27, really good with like CBA stuff. So this is important to note with Nick Robertson. If Nick Robertson is on the Leafs roster for 27 games, injured or not, he accrues his first professional season of experience. A 4-week recovery, which is what he has, would be 16 games on the roster. And March 13th is the 27th game for him. If he reaches 27 games, he hits UFA, unrestricted free agency, in 2027 instead of 2028. So that's just something to look for, something the Leafs might try to manage at some point.
You know what? I am having trouble looking towards 2027 and the contract situations.
That's the first thing I thought when I read it. I'm like, okay, you should note that if you're with Leafs management, but also that's so...
The Leafs management in place now won't be here for that contract.
That's like two prime ministers from now. Like,
yeah,
I don't care. Like, yeah, but you should. I don't know. It's noteworthy.
Write it down on a notepad somewhere and lose it. Lose the notepad in like 6 months.
The reason it's relevant is if you see the Leafs do some finagling with Robertson later in the season, you'll know why.
Right.